This camera body with this lens creates some beautiful images. Check these out. This is a stunning lens. Now, I know there's been a lot of videos out there. I'm a little bit late to the game. I tried this lens a few months back when the R6 Mark II was announced. They had it in the Canon offices, but of course it was a pre-production lens, so I couldn't take it through its paces. Big thanks to Canon Singapore for sending this my way though, so I could finally use this lens. And now I know what all the videos are talking about, and I'm here to back up what they're claiming. This is probably one of Canon's best prime lenses to date. And that is a big feat because the 51.2 is phenomenal. The 85 1.2 is butter. It is gorgeous. It just blows out the background but still maintains sharpness with your subject. But this 135 1.8 is something special. Now, it is a longer focal length than the 85, of course, so that means it is primarily for portraiture, and you can use this for various different scenarios, as you saw from my sample images. But I think a lot of people who will be buying this lens will be getting it for portraiture purposes. But there is a lot of versatility if you're used to a 135 focal length. Now, I like a longer focal length. I like having my subjects a little bit more compression there and play kind of isolating them depending on the scenery, and it just performs so well. I mean, in terms of the build quality, yes, it is a bigger lens. It's coming around 2 pounds thereabouts. It is going to be hefty, even on the R5. On the R3, especially when you have a vertical grip on this and it's a larger body, you may find it a better home on an R3. But on something even smaller than the R5, I would definitely get a vertical grip if there is one available for that camera system. Putting all that aside, we know RF glass is very big. It is the performance, the sharpness, minimal to zero chromatic aberration. I was testing it out on my motorcycle, taking photos of, the badges, where I was testing other lenses from other manufacturers, even their top glass, and you would see some purple fringing. I see none of that with this 135 1.8. It is so well corrected. Now, yes, there may be in-body correction happening, but guess what? Who cares? Because that's going to happen in any camera system out there to date. Because the fact that it is so sharp where you want it to be sharp. It's sharp in the edges, of the corners of the image, if you want that. But the separation, the depth, the bokeh, it is... guys, I love this lens. I really like this lens. And I'm a big fan of the 85 1.2 RF lens. It is a fantastic lens. But this lens has really impressed me. Now, in terms of some of the specs on this lens, I don't want to go through everything, but close focusing is 0.7 meters, which is impressive for a 135 1.8. Also, this is the first 135mm lens in the world. It gives you up to 8 stops of image stabilization. 9 rounded aperture blades. But bokeh is decent. Gonna have a little bit of cat's eye. Doesn't bother me whatsoever because it adds character. I like character in my images. Now, what do I mean by character? Character can mean different things for different people. For me, I like a bokeh that is interesting. Yes, there is a separation from your subject to the background. I like the fall off, but I also like that there's sort of a painteresque look to the background, that it's just not blown out, it's creamy and it's flat. To me, those images don't do much. It just like, okay, you got a fast aperture, big deal. But when you can play with a really interesting background and you can actually play with the textures a bit, and that actually gives a nice separation from your subject, that adds to a nice dynamic look to your overall photography and to your image, especially when you're using a 135 1.8. And it makes your subject even pop out more, in my personal opinion, and that's what this lens delivers. It is a beautiful lens. This video is probably going to be very short because I'm just waxing lyrical about it. There's really not many faults. The autofocusing is lightning quick with the Nano USM motors inside of this thing. I had no issues at all. Animal tracking, eye tracking for humans, subject tracking, it just hit every single time. It was... I mean, look, Canon's got some fantastic autofocus, as we already know. I mean, that's hello. If you've been living under a rock, then welcome to the RF mount and welcome to the EOS R5 and the R3 and the R6 too and everything else. Autofocus on this camera is friggin' awesome. With a lens like this, with a lot of glass to push, sometimes that autofocusing could take a hit. It does not here. Again, this is a specialty lens and it's priced at a premium over $2,000 US. Of course, you probably can find deals depending where you buy the lens. But if you are a professional and you are looking for a lens of this focal length, especially for your Canon camera, you're going to really enjoy this. Now, the question a lot of people are going to have is this or the 85 1.2? And that is a valid question to have. And I've shot with both. pretty extensively. The 85 1.2 is a very bulbous lens. It's very big, as you've already seen. And it does make carrying it in a bag a little bit of a challenge. This is longer, but it's narrower. But again, if you put the hood onto that thing, it's really, really long. I mean, the hood is just, this hood right here is really, really big. I'm gonna put it on real quick so you can see what I'm talking about here. This is a monstrosity. And I've not seen much flaring at all, in case you're wondering. So it's very well controlled in that way. I don't know. It's kind of tough because the 85 is a little bit shorter, so that gives you a little bit more versatility. I did find myself having to back up a lot with this 135. Again, it's a 135, you're going to back up. But that does mean if you are going to be taking more environmental photographs, that you're going to have to account for that distance, where the 85 might be much easier to sort of guesstimate how far you need to be away from your subject. Are there any cons? I guess you could say the size and the price point's up there. I think we're kind of used to that now with the RF lenses, especially with the L range. They are quite hefty, quite bulbous, but the glass, the optics that Canon delivers is just on another level, and it's some of the best out there in the mirrorless game right now, in my personal opinion. Anyway, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, more content coming your way. Thanks again for the support, and I will chat to you soon.